All right, welcome to your deep dive. Looks like we're going deep on John Bardeen today.
Yep, sounds like it.
Which, I mean, winning a Nobel Prize is pretty impressive, right? But this guy won too.
Yeah, in physics. Not an easy feat.
So we're going to try to uncover how a kid who graduated high school at 15
15.
became a legend in science. So picture this. Madison, Wisconsin, 1908.
Yeah?
Young John Bardeen, his dad, big deal medical school dean.
Wow.
Kid's already, like, super smart, obviously. Finishes high school, when most of us are barely figuring out fractions. You think following dad's footsteps, med school, all that, right?
Makes sense.
But nope, he picks engineering.
Oh, interesting.
Figures it's a better, more practical way to make a living.
Yeah, I can see that. Practical approach.
And it's not like he wasn't good at the science stuff. Dude aced math and physics.
Yeah.
But there was this, like, drive to actually use the knowledge, you know?
Oh, totally. Like, not just the theory, but actually solving real problems.
Exactly. So he starts out as a geophysicist.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
Yep. Comes up with ways to, like, figure out those magnetic and gravitational surveys.
For what, like oil exploration and stuff?
You got it. Very hands-on.
Interesting. So how does he end up like a theoretical physics guy?
That's the thing. He goes to Princeton for his PhD, and things change. Like, something clicked.
Yeah, at Princeton, solid-state physics became his focus. Working with some big names, too,
Yeah.
like Eugene Wigner, John Hasbrouck Van Vleck, Percy Williams Bridgman. Those are heavy hitters.
Yeah, serious brain power. So he's building this foundation, right, all this theory, and then, boom, World War II.
Right.
Instead of just, staying in academia, he's suddenly leading a team, developing mines, the magnetic kind, and ways to, like, counter them, too.
Well, for the Navy, right?
Yep. So, like, all that theoretical knowledge gets put to the test under pressure.
For sure. That had to be intense. I bet it honed his leadership,
Yeah.
and his collaborative skills, things that would be super valuable later on.
Right. High stakes. And after the war, Bell Labs, the transistor race is on Enon.
Yeah, Bell Labs. Everyone's trying to ditch those clunky vacuum tubes for something better.
Exactly. Solid state was the dream, but it wasn't easy. I mean, imagine the atmosphere there.
Oh, man. Got to be a mix of brilliance and cutthroat competition, right?
Oh, for sure. And setbacks. Lots of them.
It wasn't some eureka moment, that's for
No
sure.
way. So Bardeen, along with Shockley and Brattain, they're in this pressure cooker.
Yeah.
How do they get to that breakthrough, the transistor?
Well, Bardeen, he really understood those surface states in semiconductors,
Right, go on.
He figures out they're trapping electrons, which messes up the whole amplification thing.
Ah, interesting.
That insight shifts everything. Now they're trying new materials, different setups, all because of Bardeen.
Okay, so then December 23rd, 1947.
The big day.
Working without Shockley, Bardeen and Brattain build the point contact transistor. It's often called a happy accident, but come on, there's more to it.
Oh, absolutely. Luck played a role, for sure. But their constant experimenting, driven by Bardeen's theory, that's what let them see the potential in that accident.
Right, this wasn't just messing around, this was deliberate.
Totally. Informed exploration. And it leads to, well, the world we live in now. Pretty crazy to think about. I mean, from that crazy time at Bell Labs, the transistor is now, like, everywhere.
Right, it's wild. But Bardeen's story, it doesn't end there. 1951, he leaves Bell Labs.
Really? Why?
Heads to the University of Illinois.
Huh.
Maybe he'll have a little change of pace.
Maybe. I think, though, he missed that academic world. Like that freedom to explore, the collaboration.
Makes sense. And at Illinois, get this, he starts 2 research programs, one on semiconductors, electrical engineering department, the other on,
Macroscopic quantum systems,
Yeah.
physics department.
2. The guy wasn't about to just, like, sit back and relax.
Nope. That curiosity, always pushing, And that ability to connect engineering with physics, that's special.
It is. And it leads him to, wait for it, the BCS theory of superconductivity.
Here we go.
So, for those of us who didn't ace physics, what exactly is superconductivity?
Okay, imagine electricity flowing, but with zero resistance.
0.
Zilch. Scientists were stumped for years. But then Bardeen, with Leon Cooper and John Robert Schrieffer, they figure it out.
And that's the BCS theory in a nutshell.
Exactly. It explains how electrons, which usually repel each other, actually pair up at super low temperatures.
That they pair up. How?
They form what we call Cooper pairs.
Okay, so these Cooper pairs are the key to zero resistance.
Think of it like a crowded hallway, everyone bumping into each other, slowing things down. That's normal resistance.
Gotcha.
But when you get these Cooper pairs, they're like synchronized, moving together, no collisions, no energy loss.
It's like a perfectly choreographed dance through a crowd.
Exactly. And the implications are huge.
Yeah.
Imagine power lines with no loss, crazy efficient electronics, way better medical imaging.
Now that's some sci-fi stuff. But what about real-world uses, like things we see today?
Well, MRI machines, they use superconducting magnets to get those detailed pictures, help doctors diagnose all sorts of things. And then there's maglev trains, using superconducting electromagnets to levitate above the track, super fast and smooth.
Wow, I never knew superconductivity was behind all that. It's everywhere.
It is, and for Bardeen, this is just as big a deal as the transistor. He could work with tiny semiconductors and then switch to these huge quantum systems.
Well,
amazing.
Two totally different worlds. It's mind-blowing. So 1956, he wins the Nobel Prize for the transistor.
That's got to be the peak, right? What else is there?
You'd think so. But remember those Cooper pairs? 1972, another Nobel Prize, this time for the BCS theory.
No way. 2 Nobel Prizes.
Yep, Bardeen, Cooper, and Schrieffer share it. And get this, he's the only person ever to win 2 Nobels in the same field. Physics. That's legend status, for sure.
Wow. Talk about making history.
Yeah.
But didn't he, almost miss out on another big discovery? Something about the Josephson effect?
Yeah. There's a story there. This young physicist, Brian Josephson, he predicts this thing, a supercurrent that can, tunnel through a barrier.
Tunnel. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it kind of breaks the rules. Even Bardeen was skeptical.
Really? But he's Bardeen.
I know, right? But being skeptical, if it's based on science, it's important. He wanted proof, evidence to back up this wild claim.
Did Josephson have it?
He did. Experiments proved him right. And Bardeen, being the scientist he was, admitted he was wrong. He even nominated Josephson for a Nobel Prize, which Josephson got in '73.
That's pretty big of him. Could have easily stuck to his guns, but no, he put the science first.
Right. It shows his humility and that he really cared about getting it right, not just being right.
Yeah. For all his accomplishments, Bardeen seemed like a pretty grounded guy.
So enough about the groundbreaking science. What was this guy like outside the lab?
Picture this. A Nobel Prize winner, grilling burgers in his backyard, playing golf.
Sounds pretty normal.
And he'd always ask his guests, "Want your hamburger buns toasted?"
He was known for that.
Apparently. Just a small detail, but it makes you realize even geniuses have their quirks. He was human, just like us.
I mean, for a guy who changed the world, he seems pretty relatable.
Yeah, it's good to remember there's a person behind all the big discoveries. But Bardeen's impact, it goes way beyond him. His work still shapes our world in huge ways.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, how would you sum up his legacy? How is John Bardeen remembered today?
Well, the engineering quad at the University of Illinois, where he taught and did all that research, it's named after him, the Bardeen Quad.
Makes sense. What else?
Oh, there's the John Bardeen Professorial Chair at the university, too.
Named after him.
Yep. Endowed by Sony Corporation, no less.
Wow, Sony.
It's fitting, right? Their whole success is built on the tech Bardeen helped create.
True. So it's not just academics honoring him. It's about how his work changed whole industries.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. The transistor. That little thing is everywhere. Computers, smartphones, the internet, none of it happens without Bardeen.
Crazy, right? And then there's superconductivity. That's a whole other level of impact in medicine, transportation, energy.
Yeah, he was a game changer. We started this deep dive wanting to go beyond, just the transistor guy image.
And I think we did, right? We saw his curiosity, how he could adapt, his humility, and, well, the fact that his work is still relevant today.
His story shows what science can do. Breakthroughs can come from anywhere if you're willing to question things and really understand both the theory and the practical stuff.
And don't forget collaboration. From the war to Bell Labs, then Illinois, Bardeen was all about teamwork. Smart people coming together.
Right. Science isn't always a solo act. It's sharing ideas, debating, building on each other's work to, understand the world better.
So for anyone listening inspired by Bardeen's story, what's the one thing they should take away from all this?
I'd say embrace your curiosity. Don't be afraid to explore, ask questions, even challenge how things are. Because sometimes the biggest discoveries come from, just wanting to figure things out.
That's a great point. John Bardeen shows us that with a curious mind, a willingness to work together, and that drive to keep learning, anything's possible.
Keep exploring. Keep asking those questions. Who knows what you might discover?
And hey, next time you use your phone or hear about a new tech gadget, think of John Bardeen, the guy who helped make it all happen.
That's right. His work is everywhere.
So thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the life of John Bardeen. We hope you enjoyed it.
And keep those minds curious, everyone.